Hi guys, so in this video I'm going to do pretty much a run through of my entire 4K collection. I don't have obviously the world's biggest 4K collection. I've only recently just got into the format, and from what I've seen so far I've been really impressed with some of the transfers and you know, how some of these movies look on the home TV. Yeah, just been really impressed with what I've seen so far. So yeah, that being said, I'm just going to go through the titles mainly. I haven't seen all of these movies in 4K. I have seen all the movies, just not in the 4K format as of yet. I've just been so busy with moving around and things. But yeah, I just thought I'd give a run through of the 4K titles that I have in my collection so far. So yeah, that being said, I'm going to just kick it off with the first ones that I've got. So yeah, the first one that I've got is, of course, Ghostbusters Afterlife. I loved the movie when it came out. I had an absolute blast with it. Just thought it ticked a lot of boxes for me. Only watched it on Blu-ray so far. I was sort of upgrading to a larger screen, and I was waiting to give it a rewatch on 4K. On a bigger screen to get that full 4K effect. So I just stuck to watching the Blu-ray when I got this. But yeah, looking forward to checking it out on 4K when you know, I get the itch to watch the film again. But yeah, really good film. Looking forward to checking it out, see what it looks like. So yeah, that is Ghostbusters Afterlife. So similar to that, also got on 4K. Last Night in Soho, in a very similar boat with Ghostbusters Afterlife. I've only seen it on Blu-ray. Was waiting to get the bigger screen to check out the 4K. But yeah, really enjoyed this film too. Just think it was a really great surprise. I'm looking forward to seeing the 4K transfer. So yeah, that is Last Night in Soho. So coming up next, we've got a couple of purchases that I actually made this afternoon at the time of recording this video. So the next one we've got is Predator. I've heard that the 4K of this movie is the only way to really watch this movie from other YouTubers. So I was out today, saw it for a decent price, and I just had to pick it up. Because I've heard a lot of negative feedback about the Blu-ray. So yeah, looking forward to checking out this 4K to see what it looks like. So yeah, one of the best action movies in my opinion, and that is Predator. So coming up next, we've got Oliver Stone's The Doors with Val Kilmer. Seen this movie a few times on DVD. That is the highest quality level I've ever seen this movie. So yeah, really looking forward to checking it out on 4K. And yeah, really good early 90s movie with Val Kilmer. So yeah, really looking forward to checking The Doors out. Next up, we've got the Best Picture winner from 1992, directed and starring Clint Eastwood. That is Unforgiven. Just a fabulous western. This one, but yeah, again, haven't seen the 4K transfer yet, but I just thought I'd pick it up because it was of a reasonable price. So yeah, that is Unforgiven. Coming up next, we've got one of my favourite Christmas movies of all time. If you're watching this, it's probably one of yours too, and that is Home Alone. Now I have seen some of the 4K on this, and it looks absolutely stellar. From what I've seen, the opening shots, the John Williams score, it just absolutely popped for me, and I just really enjoyed what I saw so far. I didn't watch the film in full, but just put the disc in to see what it looked like, and my word, I was very impressed with it. So yeah, I'm probably going to check this movie out in full coming this December, as I don't really watch Christmas movies any other time of the year, but yeah, from what I've seen so far, really impressive. So yeah, that is Home Alone. Coming up next, we've got one of my favourite horror movies by Wes Craven from the mid-90s, and that is Scream. Now, this is a movie I have watched in full in 4K, and yeah, really impressed with it. Really happy with how this movie looked. yeah, it's one of Wes Craven's best horror movies in my opinion. Completely injected new life into the genre for me. I was very happy with it. And yeah, just thought the 4K was really good. Again, the highest quality I'd seen prior to this was the DVD, and yeah, the 4K just absolutely smashed it out the park. So yeah, that is Scream. Coming up next, we've got Coen Brothers' The Big Lebowski. This is one of my favourite films ever, and I just had to pick this up on 4K. Yeah, I adore this movie. It's one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen. I just absolutely love it. And again, prior to this, only seen the DVD. Haven't watched the movie in full yet, but did put the disc in and was very happy with what I saw. So I'm looking forward to checking The Big Lebowski out when I get the itch to rewatch it. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. It's one of my favourite movies ever. So yeah, that is The Big Lebowski. Coming up next, we've got my favourite trilogy of all time, Back to the Future. Yeah, I rewatched these last weekend at the time of recording this video, and yeah, I was just blown away by it. Absolutely superb. There's no going back after this. These 4K discs just look absolutely fantastic. Watching the three of these back to back on the 75-inch screen was just a real treat. And this is a series of movies I'm going to go back to quite often. Let's just say that. So yeah, absolutely fabulous stuff. Yeah, that is the Back to the Future trilogy. Absolutely superb. So coming up next, we've got one of my favourite Tim Burton movies, and that is Beetlejuice. Now, my good friend Mike Woods over at Cinema Axeman recommended this to me. This was pretty much one of the first 4Ks I'd ever seen, and he pretty much convinced me to pick this up and said it was one of the best 4Ks he had ever seen. And yeah, he wasn't wrong. This was absolutely beautiful. Putting this 4K in, I noticed things in this movie I had never ever noticed before. Particularly, you know, things in the background and the corner of the screen. They just really stuck out. And yeah, my word, this movie just looked absolutely fantastic. It was great. Yeah, I can't really give this movie any more praise because it is just phenomenal. Yeah, I put the Blu-ray disc in and the 4K to compare. The 4K is just pristine. It really is something special. And yeah, this is one of the best 4Ks I've seen. It's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that is Beetlejuice. So yeah, coming up next, we've got V for Vendetta. So yeah, this was a movie I saw in a deal that I'd pick up. It's not one of my favourite movies ever, but it has grown on me over the years. But again, I've only ever seen it on DVD. So yeah, I'm looking forward to checking it out in full on 4K. Hopefully it grows on me even more. But yeah, right now that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, that is V for Vendetta. Next up, we've got Rambo, First Blood, or just First Blood. Yeah, this is a fantastic film. One of my favourite Sylvester Stallone movies. The movie turned, what is it, 40 years old, and yeah, its time hasn't dented it one little bit. It's absolutely fantastic, but I haven't watched the 4K yet at the time of filming this video. So yeah, I'm looking forward to putting this on when I get the urge to watch the movie, and just seeing it in 4K because I think it's going to be absolutely something special. And yeah, I just love this movie. I just think it's great. So yeah, that is First Blood. Coming up next, we've got Luc Besson's The Fifth Element with Bruce Willis. This was one of the first movies I watched in 4K in full. I did think the colour of the movie was a little bit dark, but overall the quality of what was on screen was crystal clear, and I was just really happy with it as a whole. But yeah, this is a great sci-fi movie. There's a lot of CGI in this movie as well as practical effects, but they just really do look great in this transfer. And yeah, I had a fantastic time revisiting this, and yeah, it was just a joy to see in 4K. So yeah, that is The Fifth Element. Next up, we have another movie sort of in the similar vein as V for Vendetta for me. A movie that I don't really love that much, but again, I picked it up in a deal, and that is Collateral with Jamie Foxx and Tom Cruise. Heard a mixed bag of things about this 4K, about the transfer, but yeah, it's a film that I think I was at the wrong age to see it for the first time, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a rewatch. I did enjoy it the second time I watched it, and yeah, gonna give it a rewatch in 4K to see what it's like, and hopefully have a fresh perspective on it. So yeah, that is Collateral. Next up, we have one of my favourite Brian De Palma movies of all time, and I actually controversially prefer this over Scarface, and that is Carlito's Way. Yeah, an absolutely stellar 4K. Yeah, just looked really impressive to me. I have an absolute blast with this film. I absolutely love it. I can't give it any more praise than that. It's just a fantastic movie, and seeing it in 4K was a treat, to say the least. If you've not seen this movie, please do check it out. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that is Carlito's Way. Coming up next, we've got Paul Verhoeven's Basic Instinct. Yeah, a movie I've only ever seen on DVD. Haven't watched it in full on 4K yet, but yeah, it is. This movie is sort of like a porno on a budget. You know, a high budget, shall we say? But yeah, it is really enjoyable. I do really like this film, and I do like its cast. But yeah, haven't seen it on 4K yet, so don't really know what the transfer looks like. But yeah, hopefully going to give it a rewatch, and yeah, hopefully the transfer will be pretty good. So yeah, that is Basic Instinct. Coming up next, one of my favourite Arnold Schwarzenegger films of all time, Total Recall. Again, another movie I haven't seen on 4K yet, but I absolutely adore this movie. I think it's great, very similar to RoboCop. In terms of violence, the movie is so unapologetic, and yeah, I just absolutely love it for it. So yeah, that is Total Recall. Looking forward to checking this one out in 4K when I get the urge to rewatch the movie. So yeah, that's Total Recall. Coming up next, we've got a movie I watched in 4K the other night, and I must say the colours in this absolutely popped. And it's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. So yeah, really blown out of the water with this one. The 4K just lends to the colours so well. It really does them justice in this movie, particularly the scene when we sort of enter the main part of the factory in this movie. Yeah, the vibrancy just really does leap off the screen. And yeah, it's just a fantastic movie. Really do like it. Yeah, way better than the Tim Burton remake in my opinion. But yeah, I have an absolutely fantastic time with this, and it was just a joy to watch in 4K. So yeah, that is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Next up, we've got not the best movie in this collection, shall we say, but for me it's a childhood staple, and I absolutely love it. Say what you will about the quality of the movie, but yeah, we've got Space Jam. I haven't watched this completely in 4K yet. I did put the disc in to see what it looked like, and yeah, I was really happy with what I saw. Yeah, I think the animation's absolutely great. Obviously, Michael Jordan is not an actor, but yeah, it is what it is. It's a product of the times, but it's a childhood staple for me, and I've got a lot of nostalgia for it. So yeah, got it on 4K, and I was quite happy with what I saw so far. So yeah, that is Space Jam. And next up, we've got a couple of John Carpenter movies I've picked up. All three of these movies I've only ever seen on DVD. I haven't gotten around to watching them yet on 4K. I did do a John Carpenter binge about a couple of months ago, so I'm all John Carpentered out at the minute. But yeah, he's an absolutely fabulous director. So I've got 3 titles by him on 4K. So the first one I've got is Prince of Darkness, with Donald Pleasance. Yeah, this is probably one of Carpenter's most underrated movies. But yeah, for me, I've only ever watched it on DVD, and the DVD I had permanent, I think, Korean subtitles on it. So I've only ever seen the only time I've ever seen this movie, it's not been the best quality, shall we say. So I'm very happy to give it a rewatch on 4K, without the hideous subtitles on. But yeah, I'm looking forward to giving this one a rewatch when I get around to it. So yeah, that is Prince of Darkness. Next one we've got is The Fog. Now, I must say, the DVD that I have watching this movie, this movie does contain a lot of scenes which do look really, really great, as the movie is pretty much set, on this coast, and the background stuff, the mountains, the ocean, the cliffs, it just really did look quite well on DVD from what I saw. But not having seen it on 4K yet, I think I'm in for something special with this movie, because I have heard that this is one of the best 4Ks as well. I've heard the transfer is absolutely immaculate. So yeah, I'm looking forward to sitting down with this, giving it a proper watch when I get the time, and hopefully I won't be disappointed with the transfer. So yeah, that is John Carpenter's The Fog. And the third film we've got by John Carpenter is Escape from New York. Again, another movie I've only ever seen on DVD. I didn't really gel with this movie the first time I saw it, but over the years, the DVD I've seen of it, it really did win me over. I think sometimes with movies you've just got to be in the right mindset, and this is a great movie. It really, really is. I've marinated on it. I've had time to settle with it, and yeah, it's a fantastic film. But haven't seen the 4K yet, so can't comment on the transfer. But I'm looking forward to giving this one a rewatch when I get the time. So yeah, that is Escape from New York. Next up, we've got 3 box sets, and these are the final 4Ks that I have in my collection. So the first one we've got is George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. This is a movie I have to sort of prepare myself for when watching, because this movie terrified me as a kid. I was way too young to see it. I saw it when I was about 7. And I have to sort of mentally prepare myself whenever going into this movie. So yeah, I did put the 4K in of the extended cut, and from what I saw, I was just blown away by the clarity of this movie. It looked phenomenal. It looked like I was seeing it for the first time. It just looked like a brand new movie that was shot yesterday. Yeah, it just looked absolutely fantastic. But I haven't seen the movie in full yet. I think I'm going to go straight in with the extended cut when I get the itch to watch the movie. But yeah, it is a fantastic film. Completely deserves the praise and respect that it gets. And I'm looking forward, shall we say, and I use that term loosely, to watching this movie in 4K in full for the first time. So yeah, that is Dawn of the Dead. So coming up next, we've got Frank Darabont's The Green Mile with Tom Hanks. Now, this is a movie I did watch in full the other day, and my word, this movie is a roller coaster of emotions. And the 4K format, it just looks superb. It really did. Absolutely fantastic film. If you've not seen this movie, please do yourself a favour and give this one a watch, because it is absolutely phenomenal. And yeah, all I can really say about this movie is always wet your sponge. So yeah, that is The Green Mile. And last but not least, we have the Tim Burton, Joel Schumacher Batman anthology. Yeah, all 4 of these movies looked absolutely fantastic in my opinion. I rewatched these about 2-3 weeks ago, and I was just blown away. I've heard mixed things about the Batman 4K transfer, because I've seen reviews of it saying that the movie had this horrible, grotesque blue tinge to it. I didn't really notice it at all, to be honest, on the 4K of Batman. I just thought it looked absolutely great, and I was really impressed with it. Batman Returns is phenomenal. That transfer, it just looks so crisp and clear, absolutely fantastic. And Batman Forever and Batman and Robin looked great too. You know, not the best movies obviously in terms of quality, but I must say they did lend themselves to the 4K transfer rather well. So yeah, overall I was very impressed with this box set, and these are movies that I could tell the difference between the Blu-ray and 4K transfer. I just thought the 4Ks really did lend to these movies, and I just thought they were great. I do enjoy all four of these movies on some different level between the movies. You know, I think the first two are great. Got a lot of nostalgia, a lot of time for Batman Forever. Batman and Robin is not a good movie, but I do have nostalgia for it, and I do get some form of entertainment out of it. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, these movies look great on the format. Yeah, and they were just absolutely fantastic. So yeah, that is the Batman anthology. So yeah, those are all of my 4Ks that I have in my collection so far. So yeah, I'm just going to leave the video there, and I'll just say thanks very much for watching, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.